Mike went out and found that our water heater had sprung a leak, and he said, I'm calling Ben Franklin Plumbing. And I'm like, Mike, there's no way. You can't possibly do that. It's going to be too expensive.
And I was, to be honest, going to use them just as an estimate.
So that's the old water heater that our plumber saw the first time. It was leaking at the base and could not be repaired. And as you can see, there was no flue, which is legal. Although nobody's living in here, you can't have exhaust from a water heater going inside of a room. There's a window here, a door here, so we just could not legally reinstall a water heater in here.
He was attempting to go to Home Depot to buy one and install it right back in the same spot, and I advised against doing so just because of how unsafe the whole garage setup would be, and it's definitely a fire hazard. They couldn't afford what they needed to have happened, and if we didn't step in to help, who knows what would have happened.
I told Dan about Mike and about the fact that just recently he was one of 3 firefighters that dove into the Nacasho Reservoir in the dark after a submerged car, and they were in uniform. They just stripped off some of their uniform and dove in. It was pretty cold. And they were able to pull up the gentleman.
Him being a firefighter, paramedic, and him helping his community, I thought he was a great candidate for our neighborhood hero program.
Sean came out with Dan, and they said his water heaters failed, and it's gonna, cost you some money to put a new one in, but we're gonna help you out. We're gonna install a new one free of charge. We're gonna do all the work. The water heater's on us.
We decided to go tankless. It's a much more efficient, better solution in this case, because the tankless can be installed outside and there's no place to install the water heater inside. That's a Norritz NRC111. That's the top of the line, high efficiency tankless water heater, 94% efficient. And our buddy Marco's here, who's with Mister Sparky, is going to now run a GFI for us.
One of the technicians noticed that there was a problem with the furnace, and we haven't had our furnace for...
I think 2 winters we've gone without heat, except for like the little portable space heaters.
They looked at the furnace and they said, hey, I'm gonna call my friend Paul, and we'll see what we can work out for you.
We're here for a reason, so you guys in some way somehow earned it, even though it maybe didn't have anything to do with us. We help you help somebody else. It just kind of, what comes around goes around, right?
The old furnace, when it used to kick on, it sounded like, what did it sound like, a jet plane taking off, kind of? Yeah, it would just take off and roar. The whole house like shook and made this reverberation.
Well, it was an old Bryant. The heat exchanger was cracked. It was in real bad shape, so it was very unsafe for the homeowner, because it could have emitted carbon monoxide and very dangerous, for everybody in the home. The ductwork was all rusted out in the crawl space, and their efficiency, air loss was pretty substantial.
We actually did cut in 2 new boots and upgraded them to the size that the furnace needed to release more heat into the home.
They were never in the way. They were trying to make sure every gate was latched and locked, and that they didn't let an animal loose, and that no harm came to the children. They were always, so careful to be so professional with us, and they were lovely people.
She was a nice woman, and I felt good about it when the job was done. Really took care of it. Made it really nice and neat, so she should be good come wintertime.
And it makes me feel good to be with a company that actually does that for people.
Helping your community is what this world's about, and if we have the means to do it, by all means we should do it.
You've helped us so tremendously, and it was like winning the lottery. I mean, it was just like so fortunate for us, and it took such a burden off our shoulders.
You just can't imagine how, as a dad and a mom, as parents, that you're able to now have your kids be warm in the morning or at night, or know that they can go and take a warm shower. It's a pretty overwhelming, if you can't tell, feeling.
And because of Dan and Paul and Sean and all their crew, knowing that you have a furnace, knowing you have warm water, it gives us one step closer to maybe being able to take one baby in at a time in foster care and help out a little bit and give back.